Hey there, Ribbon fans. I'm Jason Ruff, and welcome to the Dry Dock Podcast. Hey there, Ribbon fans. I'm Jason Ruff. Welcome back to another episode of the Dry Dock Podcast. It's the podcast where we take a look back at the 40th Rivermen season that was, get a chance to talk with some Rivermen greats past and present, and preview this coming 41st season. Our next guest is yet the latest example of the strength of the Peoria Mustangs to Peoria Rivermen pipeline. A Peoria native, the man who is as wise as an owl, but is certainly much more prettier. Austin Wisely. Wiser, great to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming on the show. How has your summer been as we, get close now? By the time we're recording this, actually, it's the first day of autumn, so training camp just around the corner.
It's just been a nice summer, hanging out outside a lot. I did lawn care, so I've been doing that for work, and then trying to stay on the ice as much as I can. Get ready.
Awesome. Well, Austin, looking back on last season, when you came in to the Rivermen, you had a number of guys who were former Peoria Mustangs players, guys like Alec Hageman or Mitch McPherson and the like. How did those guys being on the roster, former Mustangs and Peoria natives, how did having those guys on the roster help you acclimate and come in to the Rivermen roster and kind of get your feet wet in the SBHL fresh out of college?
I think having those guys has definitely helped with my confidence. I've known Hag since he played on the Mustangs, and so he's been a role model for a while. And then me and Mitch went to college together, so having him there too helped. I just kind of knew sort of what I needed to do, following their footsteps and watching them for as many years as I had.
And describe to us that first game for you when you're able to put on the Rivermen jersey. Obviously, watching the Rivermen for a long time. You have your younger relatives still on the Mustangs right now, and then all of a sudden now you're on the Peoria Rivermen squad. What describe to us the feeling of putting on that Rivermen uniform for the first time and going out onto the ice at Carver Arena?
I think it was just excitement the whole way, because I originally was done playing hockey. I was just moving on to men's league, and then Guy had called me and asked if I wanted to come play. And so when I got that, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not retired anymore, I guess. And then just playing at home in front of my friends and family was awesome too.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, did you ever get a chance to play with Nate Chastain during your time in the Mustangs? Because he was kind of up and down with the Rivermen as well.
Yeah, I played with him on the Mustangs, and then a couple of games with Rivermen as well.
So that's like a great, folks don't really, do you ever get a chance to think about how, folks don't get a chance to play with some of the guys that they play junior hockey with in the professional level, and how fortunate a lot of guys on that Rivermen squad are? Do you ever get a chance to did it ever hit you like, oh my gosh, I'm playing with guys that I played junior hockey with. How cool is this? Did you ever have that moment during the season?
Yeah, it all kind of comes full circle, because my first year on the Mustangs, Guy was the head coach with Orty. So, and then now having him coach me on the Rivermen is pretty sweet.
What makes Jean-Guy Trudel, in your estimation, such a good coach and able to translate his systems and his philosophy both to the pros and to the junior hockey level?
I think just his experience, and then how well he teaches the details for us.
A lot of folks also make mention about how Guy is, he shows he cares about you. He's so tough on you, but he also cares about you. Describe how Guy is in the locker room, away from the cameras, away from the crowd. What is what is Jean-Guy Trudel like when the spotlight's away from him and he's just there amongst the boys?
Just like intensity, always. Just I think you know that as well.
Yeah. He's able to connect with players, it seems like.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Austin, let's go shift gears a little bit into the playoffs. Playoffs come, you had a couple of key goals in that first round against Pensacola, namely also in game one believe it was you who got the scoring started on the road in Birmingham. Describe the atmosphere and the mood on the bench leading up to that goal in that first game, because everyone seemed a little bit tense, but then after that goal, everyone just seemed to, take a collective sigh of relief and settle in and start playing Riverman hockey.
It was just a crazy game because we weren't in Pensacola, we were in Birmingham, so that was weird. And then, so my roommate in college, he actually played for Pensacola,
Mhm.
and then so I kind of had a little personal motivation on top of the playoffs already too. So it was just, I think we got there, we were really prepared because we got there a couple days early. We were hydrating. It was just, I don't know, it was exciting. And then my uncle came to town. He lives like an hour away from where we played in Birmingham.
Mhm.
And he got to see me score right because we were he was right on the glass in front of the net there. So that was kind of cool that they were there for that because my parents weren't.
Oh, that's great.
Because we didn't have many fans in Birmingham,
Right.
We had a couple good crowd, but
Yeah.
just a middle ground game.
Yeah. Well, when you have one of those neutral sites games, it's always difficult to get fans from both sides to come there. And I think it really benefited the Peoria Rivermen because Pensacola has a very tough road environment for the opposing side, that is. But then the series goes back to Peoria. Pensacola takes game 2. Tie series goes down to game 3. You get arguably the critical goal of that series. I want to say it was late in the second period. Take the puck down, circle back. Everyone's thinking you're waiting for reinforcement. You just decide to fire it on. Goalie gets a piece, but not enough. And that ends up being the critical goal. In fact, the reason I remember it being the critical goal is because David Minion, who is sitting like 2 feet to my right, turns to me and says, "That's it. There you go. That's it. That's the goal. We're okay now." Because that was like that. How describe to us the emotion of being able to show up and have such a momentous impact in such a momentous game on home ice?
In the moment, I don't think I'm really thinking of that. We just want to win the game, and the third game in the series, that was do or die. And
Right.
so I just got the puck and tried to take it in, get a good shot, and it went in. So
Sometimes
it just happens like that.
sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that is all that really takes. But Austin, before I get to the championship game, because obviously we got to talk about that, what do you remember most about that playoff team and what made them such a resilient group? Because so many times in those playoffs, that team just got punched in the mouth and they just kept finding a way to come back, whether that's in the middle of a game or in the middle of a series.
I was just saying, I think just the veteran experience around, and they've been there. They pass it on to the younger guys on the team. And just because watching Peoria over the years, you could just tell they've gotten so close. And then just having like Hags around who just wanted it. Like he wanted the Pensacola, but I just feel like hometown Peoria, you want it a little more.
Mhm.
And so they just passed down that grit for the playoffs, and then we just showed it. I don't know.
And they got it done, got the job done. I remember we had Hageman on earlier on this summer, and I asked him the emotion of winning that championship for Peoria. And he went into depth about how it felt like a weight off of his back, how he felt that it was just so special and emotional for him, not only as captain of this team for so many years, but as a Peoria native. Did you feel any of that sense of pride or relief being a Peoria native and able to bring that championship home to the River City, the first championship in 22 years?
Yeah, actually, I kind of felt almost guilty because they've been at it for like 10 years. And then I played half a season and we won. So 1 for 1. So that was no, but it was really cool bringing it back.
What do you remember most about that not the post game ceremony, but the celebration, the parade, and then the big cup celebration here at Carver Arena with like over 1,000 of the Rivermen faithful? How special was that?
Oh, that was awesome. I think even though it was a little rainy when we had our little parade into the arena that day, but I think that was nice, just celebrating with the guys. It's like it wasn't too cold. It was just nice, just being outside and celebrating with the guys on the fire truck, then having people in the streets. That was pretty cool.
Does that really bring home just how much this team, this organization means to people? I know you're a Peoria native, so you probably have a better idea than, say, someone who's coming from Canada or across the country of what this organization means to folks. But does having that experience, being able to see lines of people ringing around the concourse, does that really drive home what this organization means to people?
I don't know. It definitely, I wasn't expecting that many people to be in the stadium.
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of glad I didn't have to talk. Not much of a public speaker. So having the other guys go up and then seem like every sentence there'd be just roars going on.
Yeah.
But you know, before I learned how to play, I went to a Rivermen game, and that was like the first time I had seen hockey really. And then I started playing like a year after. But I think back then it would get packed, and then seeing it get more and more crowded at games as things go on. It's kind of cool. It brings back good history, and like even those videos that you would send to us, like the historic Rivermen. They definitely hit a little closer being from Peoria, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. And now the Rivermen have a chance to defend their President's Cup title. You're going to be a big part of this team moving forward. What excites you most about the team this year, and what do you think fans can expect from season 41 of Peoria hockey?
You know, I think it'll be another good season. We always he always finds a way to put the team up the top places. So I'm not worried about that. We just gotta go out and work hard again.
Awesome. Well, hey, we look forward to seeing you on the ice, getting those clutch goals, and being one of many representatives of the proud Peoria Mustangs tradition. Austin, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us. We look forward to seeing you here in a couple of weeks for the start of training camp and eventually the start of the season on October 21st and 22nd.